Nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Were you there time in Toronto?
No,
or you live here?
I live in New York, so
You live in New York and you're just coming up?
yes. Good stuff. I've been here, I think, twice already.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you were at the bowels of City Hall right now.
Oh, fantastic.
City Hall is about 53 years old.
53 years old.
53 years old.
Wow.
And, it was done back in the 66, so I guess a little bit more than 53.
Wow.
Come on. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, come on up.
Thank
How you doing, Chief?
Good
Morning. Good morning.
Take you upstairs.
Thank you.
Official elevator.
Who's that? Is it the mayor? And what?
The City of Toronto, it consists of 44 councillors and the mayor. So there's 45 of us. Each one of us represents roughly around 65,000 people.
Wow.
And go ahead, come on.
So this is the council chambers.
This is the council chamber, and everyone that you see is get elected.
Wow.
There is 44 wards and the mayor. The speaker sits behind there. We follow in Canada the Westministerial system of government, which is the British system. So we have federal representation, we have provincial representation, or state as you call it, and then municipal.
Okay.
There is 10 provinces and 2 territories. In the House of Commons, I used to be there for 25 and a half years.
Wow.
And federal politics, and then I left. I just couldn't take it anymore. So every province has a certain number of seats. And what happens is that usually you get elected by the federal ridings are made up of population and territorial cover. There's some ridings that are something like about half of Nigeria. One person, but up north, but that person has something like 40,000 people. So it's distance plus area. Then provincially, it's the same thing. We have the province of Ontario. We do have our legislature in Queen's Park, just up the street, and this is Toronto. Toronto, the metropolitan of Toronto used to be 6 cities, and then 1997 was amalgamated into 1. So we do not have a regional government, we have a city government. Other areas have different smaller cities and they have a regional government on top of it. Here we are one government. So you have the speaker, you have the mayor, you have 4 deputy mayors, and then you have councillors. Each one of us plays a role in different committees and different boards. Like the city has different boards. We have land the city has, and we sit in different boards. We're all equal, except the mayor has a little bit more priority. He is the mayor, of course. He gets elected at large. We get elected in different areas, in areas. So our area is around 65,000 people. And each one of us has the same rights and rules and
Let me ask you a question
Sure.
that of interest into our Nigerian audience. How much you guys get paid, in terms of salaries and allowances?
The federal government, the federal members of parliament, when I was a federal member of parliament, I used to get about 170,000. That has since gone up a bit.
Okay.
The provincial government, the provincial members of parliament get around 115. The cabinet ministers get 135,000, and we get paid 115. Those are public figures, public records.
Okay.
We cannot, federally and provincially, you can fundraise, which means your local association can fundraise, but it cannot, some of it could be to cover your expenses.
Okay.
So fundraising is done that you give money to a political party or a riding association, like a local association. You account for that. There's an audit that's done at the end of the year, and then you file that with the government of Canada, federally, or the government of Ontario. Okay. And there's a body on itself called Elections Canada or Elections Ontario. It's an independent body, and they do it themselves. Okay. So in the city of Toronto, we cannot fundraise in between elections. The only time we can fundraise is during an election. Okay. So if you're running, there's a limit of what you can spend. Federally, the limit, usually there is councillors per riding, federally, like the district, if you want to call it as such, and the federal member of parliament is about $120,000. He or she, during an election, can spend up to about $85,000, $90,000, which means people make contributions. If you're the candidate and I like you, I'll come and make a contribution to you. There's a limit on what I can give. There's a bar on businesses, corporations, and unions to give donations. So all contributions must be made by individuals, people that are Canadian citizens, or people that are landed immigrants, or people that have affiliation to Canada. So if you're a landed immigrant or here as a student visa and you like somebody, and you can go out and volunteer and you can give them some money. The same thing happens provincially. The same amount of money, roughly $85,000, to run 80 to 85, depends how big your district is. Municipally, we are about $45 to $50,000 per district. So on May the 1st, we open nominations for municipal government. So he or she who decides to run to be a municipal councillor will go make a registration. They have to find 25 signatures of different people that live within the municipality that are Canadian citizens and eligible to vote. And after they register, they will be able to open a bank account. They will be able to raise money. Now, if you raise more than you're allowed to spend, federally and provincially, your association keeps it for the next time or to do work in between elections. Here, if you raise more than you're allowed to spend, you'll have to give it to the city. So I'm allowed to spend 45. I raise 100. $55,000 will go to the city. So I'll have to close my bank account at the end of my the campaign. The campaign starts as soon as you register. The campaign starts. Provincially and federally, there is a period that you can campaign, which starts federally starts 35 days before the election. Provincially is about it's about a month. So, but before that, your association can spend money in promoting you. You can spend money as much as it wants. Before the election period, they can spend $1 million promoting you. Once the writ drops, the election period starts, you're only allowed to spend $80,000, whatever your area is. So it's number of voters, area that makes the amount. But it's usually anywhere between $75,000 to $85,000. And municipally, we cannot spend more than what we're allowed. Municipally, we're allowed to spend $45,000. Once we register, we open a bank account. We can collect money from people. People can make the contributions to us. We will have to file all the receipts, all the contributions, and everybody that made a contribution to us, he or she will get back from the city in a portion. So it's a scale that goes, the more you give, the less you get. So if you donate $300, you'll get back $225. The city will write you a check for $225. $400, you give back $300. We can accept checks up to $1,200. This is brand new. We used to be able to loan $750. We accept checks for $1,200. They get back somewhere around $600, $650. So you give me a political contribution. I will put it in the bank. I will then issue you a receipt. You mail that receipt to the city, and the city, once they've done they go through my ledger and they do the audit and all that stuff, they will send you a check directly. Simply, you can only receive money back from the city of Toronto. Other municipalities don't. The municipality of Vancouver and Montreal have political parties. In Toronto, we do not have political parties.
That's interesting.
Although we have political leanings.
Now, what's your leaning?
I'm a liberal. I was a liberal. I was a liberal member of parliament for 26 years. So this is where, in the horseshoe as we call it, people sit here, and up there is where the public can see. Anybody from the public can come and be part of the giving, watch the proceedings. They cannot participate. They cannot make injections in council. However, they can do that in committees. So if you got an issue of interest, there would be committee hearings, and you can make depositions there, deputations. So, shall we go downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the upstairs, where are they? We have other people coming in?
No.
Okay. All right, let's go to my office. We can have some coffee. I had the opportunity to meet Jonathan.
Oh, you met Goodluck Jonathan?
Yeah, I met him when he was here for the G20. Back in 2009.
And you have been to Nigeria.
2011. I also went to Nigeria. This is the office of the mayor.
friend.
K-A-R-Y
G-I-A.
N-N-I-S.
Kerry Janice.
There you go.
That's your first name?
No, that's my last name. My first name is Jim. It's Jim.
Jim, okay.
I'm probably the only one on the internet.
Here you go. Hey, Mayor, how you doing?
How are you all doing this morning?
We got a delegation from Nigeria.
Oh, how are you doing? I'm John Lawrence, Mayor. Nice to see you. How are you doing?
Come on, Chitty.
The mayor.
Is that the mayor?
Yes, yes. Morning, sir.
How are you doing?
How are you, Mayor?
Very good.
How you doing?
How are you, sir?
Nice to meet you.
Councillor, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Great friend of the Nigerian community, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
So it's nice. Anywhere I want to go with the Nigerian community, I just go with him.
You're going to be asked to take a selfie.
That's
So,
it. Oh,
you want me to take a
yeah, I'll take those. So let's turn around this way because it's a little better than taking a picture of that elevator. Come on in here, Jim. Here, come on here, anybody. Who's visiting from?
Gentleman is visiting.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much.
And an inspiring politician.
Are you an aspiring politician?
I'm running for office next year in Nigeria as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
So next time I come here, in a different capacity.
Yeah, you'll have a motorcade and a flag. Fantastic.
But I hope you guys don't waste all your money on motorcades. Like
No,
we do in Nigeria, you know.
No, we don't actually. It's not much of that.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Good? Everyone's on.
Salami, you want to hand that and come in?
Yeah.
One more, please.
Yeah. Yes. Are you too? Oh, good. That's great. I'm just going to change my clothes. I've got a transit thing. Nice to see you, all the best, and welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck with your election campaign.
Thank you.
You get some advice from him. He can't believe he's won about 12 times, I think. All right. See you later. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
All
great
right.
day.
So, there you go. This is the second floor. And on the second floor, we have the councilor's office. Let me take you through. Upstairs, this is the place that holds the upstairs. This is the chamber. And that's our internal thing, but that's really the Hall of Honor where everybody that has fought and got killed in the war, all their names for Toronto are down on that book over there.
Wow.
All right. So, all right. These are committee rooms, left and right. And these are the offices of the councilors. So every councilor, this is where I'm talking about the city of Toronto. Okay. Every councilor has an office, and we have staff of about, it depends how you split your budget, 3 to 5 people.
Okay.
The city provides services, secretarial services, they provide assistance, but we as individuals run our own offices.
Okay. So you're allowed to, have a staff?
We're given a budget.
Okay.
We're given a budget, the city pays. We're given a budget of staffing and a budget of discretionary budget that we can spend on different things. The budget for staff is close to $250,000 and you hire staff. And they're there to help you. This is my office, this is my space. I got a staff of 4 down here and a staff of 1 in the constituency office. So, this is my personal office. This is where I am. Can we get you guys some coffee or some tea? That's what I do this morning. So, please grab a seat.
Where do you sit normally? You sit over there?
No, fine. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Well, welcome to Toronto.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy your visit. Although I know this is they haven't been here very often, but we hope that you get to visit us a little bit more often.
Actually, I was here. The last time I was here was in Montreal, and we had a Worcestershire Forum.
Okay.
Yes, the Worcestershire Forum in Montreal, and I attended. And that was the last time I was in Canada.
Well, Canada is a nice place to be, and it welcomes people from all over the world. We have close to, I would say, 100,000+ Nigerians in Canada. In Toronto, we have about 55 to 60,000 of Nigerians. They are indeed people that love life, people that work hard, and people that are there to make sure that when the call comes out, that they're there to support and they're there to help fellow citizens. In Canada, the city of Toronto is the most ethnically visible minorities, largest city. We're close to 3 million people. This is in the city of Toronto. In the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, we're about 8 to 10 million. But in the city of Toronto, we have over 50% is people of visible minorities, people of people of, I can say, color. Africans, South Asians, Chinese, and we all get along together. We have in our federal cabinet, we have more Sikh ministers than they have in India, just to give you an example.
Wow.
In the city of Toronto, we do have a variety of people. I would say that close to 80% of the councillors are people that are first or second generation immigrants. We have a lot of Italians, we have some Greeks, we have some Africans, we have a South Asian, and we have a few Chinese. So that makeup is there to be made, and we all work together in order to promote ourselves.
So, are you allowed as a city to have international relationships?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We have signed a lot of MOUs with different cities.
Okay.
And as a city,
But that's for other cities, not other countries.
well, country to country will come from the federal government.
Okay.
But city to city can. We can set up friendship agreements between cities. As a city, we have close to 7 or 8 friendships, and we have a lot of cities MOUs. We also are looking to do area to area. So the area of let's say Scarborough Agincourt, we can do something with the area in Abuja or Lagos. And those are different things that we
So
do.
one quick question I have, it's a big question for us in Nigeria right now. Is there, an issue of restructuring? Our federal government is not seen as balanced enough. There's not enough devolution of power. It seems like we're a unitary government. And I think Canada has been through this a lot, where you even have a part of Canada, I think Quebec at the time saying they want to leave Canada because
we have had our trials and tribulations.
Yes. So how did you handle that? How did you handle the demand for autonomy? More autonomy.
We were at a time central government, and the central government had a lot of power. In the 1990s and in the 2000s, there was a devolution of power. So more autonomy was given to the regions. Okay. For example, one of the federal institutions that they run is immigration.
Yes.
And people immigrated in Canada will immigrate for all of Canada. And then Quebec said, look, we want to select our own people. The federal government still is the one that overlooks it, but we want to select our own people. Then Ontario started doing this. So right now, the provinces, or what you call states in Nigeria, 32 or 36, how many is it?
We have 36 states.
36. So
and the federal capital territory.
Right. So every area, like every state, has its own input. We have our own, the state has its own environmental ministry, has its own transportation ministry. But when it comes to transportation right across Canada, like planes and railroad and shipping, that's done federal.
What about police?
Police, we have the federal police, which is RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And above that we have CSIS, which is similar to CIA, or the secret police as they call it. But every municipality has its own police force. Okay. And every province, well, there's 2 provinces that they have their own police force. The province of Ontario and the province of Quebec. The other provinces, or the other municipalities, they do not have their own police force. So what do? They rent from the federal government. Okay. So the city of, like in a northern village, where they don't have, they will be looked after by the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. They will rent the services of the individuals, the police force, but they will be locally engaged, but they will be, reporting to the federal government.
What about the judiciary?
Judiciary, we have the province of, every province has its own lower court, and the federal government has the upper court. So let's say if it's traffic tickets, they will be looked by the city. If it's anything that has a theft, that will be looked by the province. But if it's anything higher than that, there will be federally. So you deal with it, the judiciary is dealt with locally. I mean, I'm not talking about the city, I'm talking about the province, the state. And if they want to appeal, they can appeal to the Federal Court of Canada, which is the Supreme Court. Everybody can appeal there, and everybody's case can be heard there. If it's less than 2 years, the charges are looked by the provincial. If it's more than 2 years, they're federal charges. And I think we're structured for time.
Yes,
Sir,
yes.
why don't you and I come on over here?
Okay.
Okay. And I'll get you on this side, and I'll present the certificate to you from the city, and welcome you to the city, and wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you so
and
much.
good luck, and may the people of Nigeria choose the right person to be leader. And if that's they think it's you, I guess next time we'll see you in Toronto, you'll be here as the president of Nigeria.
Bye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. That's the only thing I can say.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
So you know, yeah, I know you got to go to
Coffee lot? Yeah, 12 o'clock.
Well, you better get moving.
All right, I'll work with
Thank
you.
you.
Hey, thanks
so
very much.
much.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Chitty. Appreciate it.